At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Ranked number one in innovation for 10 consecutive years and number two among public universities for employability, ASU isn't just ahead of the curve, it's creating new paths to success. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online, that's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
Oh, hi, Jenny. This is Mom. Call me. Okay, bye.
Those 3 words, "This is Mom," as if I wouldn't recognize the voice that had narrated my entire life. My name is Jenny Skoog, and this is The Silence Between Hello, a podcast about what remains when distance, faith, and memory reshape a relationship. For years, my Tuesday nights often ended the same way. I'd be falling asleep on a friend's couch or just living my life when my phone would ring. Mom's heavy breathing on the other end, her voice tight with anxiety, asking about my eternal soul and whether I wanted to get to heaven. The calls were so unsettling that I often laid awake all night long afterward, tormented by her words. Not because I feared hell anymore, but because I heard the genuine panic in her voice. She truly believed that I was destined for eternal suffering. How do you tell someone you love that their deepest conviction, the organizing principle of their entire life, is something you no longer believe? The religion I grew up in taught us that we were in the world, but not of the world. As believers, we were the only ones getting to heaven.
Oh, hi, Jenny. This is Mom. Yeah, if you want to come, if it works out, we'll pay your fare. Okay, Jenny. Bye.
This was Mom's frequent invitation in those early years after I left. A ticket home, with the unspoken manipulation that I might return to the fold. It wasn't just about seeing me, it was about saving me. But I didn't want to be saved by her God. I wanted to forge a path of my own, and so I avoided going home, even when the alternative was to sleep in my car. Who loves who more?
Huh?
Who loves who more?
Who loved who?
Does he love you more, or do you love him more?
I don't know. How do you measure that? We probably love each other the same amount.
Probably not.
Probably not?
Probably not.
Oh, you love me less?
No, but I don't know when you love me. Worries me.
Really?
Yeah.
Don't be dumb. I tell you I love you. You never tell me you love me. No, he doesn't tell me he loves me. Do you tell me once in a while?
I know I never met wife in the world.
Oh.
That's my parents in 2019, after nearly 60 years of marriage. You can hear my dad's speech impediment, a cleft palate that made communication difficult his entire life. You can also hear something else, a practical, understated commitment summed up in his response about their long marriage. Is that your way of saying I love you?
Well, you mean more than that. Ain't many people that live with a woman for 50 years, 60 years almost.
This was one of the hardest parts of leaving the faith, knowing my parents had built their entire lives around a commitment to permanence. Their marriage, their faith, their community, all of it was structured around the idea that you don't leave, no matter what. By walking away from their religion, I wasn't just rejecting a belief system. I was rejecting the very concept of unbreakable loyalty that had defined their lives. The thing that kept me in my childhood religion for as long as I stayed was my concern with losing my parents. I had learned from birth that anyone who leaves the faith is, at best, held at arm's length. Take my Aunt Julia. She was Mom's older sister and had left the faith when she was a teenager. She had gotten married to a man from the world and had 3 daughters before a divorce that Mom said left her with a nervous nature. As long as I can remember, Julia was a pariah in our family and the butt of jokes among my mom's siblings. In turn, my cousins treated our aunt like an outcast as well. But Mom had a soft spot for Julia and would invite her to spend holidays with us. The few times she accepted the invite, Mom and Dad would drive to the cities to pick her up. She would arrive with a small suitcase and 2 cartons of cigarettes that she would chain smoke at our dining room table. I was always both curious and terrified of her. When I decided to leave the religion at age 18, it took 3 years of courage building to finally come clean to Mom and Dad. In those 3 years, I worried that I would become a pariah in my family like Julia had. Would I become the butt of jokes to my siblings and their children? Would they use me as an example of how leaving the faith would ruin their lives? There's a cost to rejecting their version of heaven. For me, it meant enduring pitiful stares and uncomfortable silences at family gatherings. It meant losing my entire social network overnight. It meant rejecting Mom's passive-aggressive coercion to have my sins forgiven. But leaving meant freedom for me. I didn't have to camouflage my car in a grocery store parking lot and sprint across a busy intersection to the movie theater anymore. I could just park in the damn theater lot and see as many movies as I pleased, on Sundays no less. But Mom was relentless. She called my phone constantly, wondering where I was and what I was up to. She called me at work. She called my sister Anne-Marie fishing for information when I didn't answer. For years, any time her number appeared on my phone, my muscles would tense and my heart would begin to race. I stopped taking her calls.
Oh, hi, Jenny. This is Mom. Wondering how you're doing. Okay, bye. Please call me.
Did you catch that? God's peace, she says. The exclusive greeting for fellow believers, slipping into her message decades after I'd left. These little linguistic fossils would appear occasionally, reminders of the world we'd once shared. At some point in my mid-20s, I realized that I needed to get out of Minnesota, somewhere they couldn't easily get to, where I could disappear into the crowds of the world and begin my life. Start again, maybe for the first time. I moved to New York City in June 2003 with $1,600 cash. I rented a 45-square-foot room on a 5th-floor walk-up in Chelsea for $900 a month and walked to a legal secretary job in Midtown because I didn't have money for a subway fare, and went out to happy hours with free food and nightclubs that had no cover charge. I was living my best life. In that tiny space, I began to expand. I walked the grid of Manhattan until my feet ached, claiming each block as a form of rebirth. The Hudson River became my confidant, the subway my sanctuary, 24-hour diners my communion table. The vastness of the city offered a new kind of belonging, or perhaps a new kind of anonymity that felt like belonging. Here, no one knew to judge me for ordering a beer or wearing makeup. No one recoiled when I dyed my hair pink. No one asked me which church I attended.
Oh, hi, Jenny. I'm sure it's impossible to get you in France. Okay, this is Mom. Bye.
Mom's voicemails during this period reflected a growing acceptance that I was building a life beyond her reach, both physically and spiritually. Sometimes she seemed almost proud of my adventures, even as she remained bewildered by them. I was still on a phone hiatus with Mom when I first moved to New York. Writing letters in the mail helped us begin to heal. After living in New York for a few months, I decided I was done being bullied. Those first boundaries felt like my first foray into adulthood. A few months later, Mom booked a ticket to New York. Oh, the time we had. We poked around in little boutiques, shopping for a souvenir for Dad, and toured Ellis Island looking for Mom's mom, who had immigrated as a toddler. We strolled Central Park, visited touristy landmarks, and ate salty street pretzels. I cried when she left. The physical distance between Minnesota and New York had created a new kind of space between us. Not the silence of estrangement, but room to see each other as adults with separate lives. When I became a personal trainer, she started calling for fitness advice. When I starred in a TV show, Mom sent me the local newspaper with my headlining story. When I enrolled in university, she wanted to know what classes I was taking. I could tell she was proud, even if she couldn't come out and say those exact words. I spent my first Thanksgiving and Christmas alone after moving to New York. Sure, it was lonely, but I wasn't subject to the in-your-face religious indoctrination of my childhood. The pressure to attend church services was gone. Horns honked and sirens wailed in place of the depressing and endless church songs. Peace at last. The solitude made me realize that I would never go home for the holidays again. It was time to shed the past.
Oh, hi, Jenny. This is Mom. We're just having breakfast in our dining hall here, and I thought I'd call you, but it's probably still sleeping. Okay, bye.
Over time, Mom's calls changed. The religious pressure faded. The anxiety lessened. She began calling simply to share mundane moments of her day. Coffee in the morning, a trip to the store, a puzzle she was working on. This was its own kind of grace, the acceptance that I wasn't coming back to the faith. But I wasn't lost to her either. We were finding a new way to be mother and daughter across the divide of belief. Mom was slowly, imperfectly learning that there could be love without agreement, connection without conversion, family without faith. In our next episode, we'll explore how physical distance shaped our relationship and how the geography of Minnesota and New York became metaphors for our emotional journey. We'll hear Mom's constant refrain, "We just got home," and what it means to create a sense of home far from where I began.
Oh, hi, Jenny. This is Mom. Yeah, we just got home. I had a doctor appointment for my knee today, so we're home now if you want to call back. Okay, bye.